Hello from my side as well. My name is Elis Raudkett. I'm a senior consultant from PwC Estonia, and within this project, I helped coordinate preparation of the deliverables within the Digital Gateway for Enterprises working stream. The Digital Gateway for Enterprises, DGE for short, had two main objectives within this project. The first one was mapping the current state of digital public services, the user needs, and AI readiness in the Estonian public sector. The second goal was creating an AI-based implementation model for the most beneficial and practicable AI use cases. So today I will go over of what exactly the Digital Gateway for Enterprises is, what are the main user needs, what do entrepreneurs need and expect from the state, what are the lessons learned and best practices from the public sector side implementing AI, and the potential AI use cases we came up with that could be implemented in the Digital Gateway for Enterprises, and how to implement them. So let's start with what exactly the Digital Gateway for Enterprises is. DGE is a single digital contact point solution aimed to provide public services to entrepreneurs who operate in Estonia through one single channel. The current status of Estonia is that we have approximately 156 different public agencies, including the local municipalities and other organizations that provide services for entrepreneurs together with information as well. And we have at least 36 different service environments through which entrepreneurs can consume these different services and information. Unfortunately, they are not using any unified approach for this matter. The idea of the DGE is to not only gather together different services and information into one channel. The idea is to also provide services and information in a user-centric approach and in a proactive way. And the ultimate goal that the DGE has is to lessen the administrative burden that entrepreneurs currently have. And to do that, the idea is to make the service provision more seamless. Also, another goal is to make the business environment more equal, so that businesses in different sizes with different resources have the same access to services and information. The Ministry of Economic Affairs and Communications is the one managing the development of the gateway. And based on previous analysis and mapped user needs, they have established a roadmap for the development of the gateway. And it includes 10 major IT development projects. Some of them are meant for creating basic functions within the portal. For example, developing a data card, which means that entrepreneur within the portal can see what kind of information and data the state has on its company. Another example is developing a national mailbox through which the entrepreneurs can receive direct notifications from the state. And the other IT projects here are related to different business events and service delivery. For example, we have here different groups of services. For example, one of the aims is to gather all together different services aimed at that are related to different actions, services related to employees, but also providing and gathering together the information regarding the different financing opportunities. So that's it. And now we can jump into what are the main challenges for entrepreneurs. What do they need and what do they expect from the state and from the gateway? When developing new digital solutions, it is crucial to involve its users, its future users. And since in our project, the aim was to define the potential AI use cases which we could utilize in the gateway, we also had workshops with entrepreneurs, and we were able to identify 4 key takeaways from the discussions with them. One of them being that the starting point is actually relatively easy. It's really easy to start a company in Estonia, and especially compared to the other countries. I think Estonia is holding the world record of registering a company within 15 minutes and 33 seconds. And the information about how to start a company, it's relatively easy to find and it's rather straightforward. However, what happens next is rather complicated, and especially for the micro enterprises who have fewer resources to operate. Regarding the obligations, currently there is no central platform through which entrepreneurs could receive information of what are the next steps they need to take. Entrepreneurs brought out that the digital gateway is a good idea, bringing together all the services and information, but they still require the support from the state to make sure that they have met all the obligations from the state side. Another thing that the entrepreneurs brought out was regarding the different support mechanisms. The good thing is that we have many different support mechanisms, but what entrepreneurs brought out is that it's actually really difficult to find which support measures are the most suitable for them. Another thing also is that applying for different supports, grants, is rather difficult. Entrepreneurs even brought out that with some measures, the applying without a outside consultant is basically impossible. And export as well was one of the main topics that we had, and this is now the subject where the entrepreneurs actually expect more support from the state side. Facilitating contacts is expected the most. This would help save a lot of time from the entrepreneur's side, and it would also reduce the reliance on the direct contacts that entrepreneurs currently have. And some quotes from the workshops as well that actually quite well illustrate the area that we're working in Estonia. One of them stating that actually we have really good public services, digitalized services, but when we come across with some service that is not working as well as the others, then this is already something that bothers us. Another thing that one other participant brought out is probably a good way of thinking how that digital gateway could be set up. the things that the state wants the entrepreneur to do should be no more than 3 clicks away. And the things that the state does not want the entrepreneur to do should be more than 3 clicks away. But now the lessons learned and best practices from the public sector side. Based on the information we received, also doing workshops with different public agencies who have previous AI experience, we managed to put together a general outline of the AI implementation process within the Estonian public sector. So the process starts with a general idea or area of concern. It is either a desire to provide something new for the public, or to be more efficient in the services that already exist. The next step, and actually whenever that goes along with the next step, is that whenever deciding to create something digital, I think nowadays we need to ask ourselves a question: if and is it possible to use AI in those solutions? So this is one thing that should be kept in mind in the public sector arena as well. And other recommendations that agencies brought out was that researching best practices and comparing the solutions in Estonia and abroad really gives you the better overview of, is this solution actually doable? How is this been achieved by others? And what were the main challenges that others encountered? The next step, once the decision is firm, the agency is going forward with the AI plans, the preparations for procurement start. And few points here were emphasized: being a smart client and doing a preliminary impact assessment. Now, being a smart client involves several elements. For example, having the right competencies within the team to successfully plan and execute the procurement. Also, knowing exactly what the outcome should look like and assembling the right team. And regards to the next step, if there's no IT or AI competencies within the house, it is important to include them from somewhere else. And regarding the implementation, the work of the project does not end after the implementation. And continuous maintenance and data training is something that should be expected and managed. Also, the constant revision of activities and monitoring the outcome. We were able to look into the foreign practices as well, and we discovered 2 great examples from Australia and Singapore. They both also have a kind of similar solution that we have in Estonia as well. A one-stop shop meant for entrepreneurs to provide public services meant for them. But the setup is kind of different. But I would like to highlight here the Singapore's case, because I believe this is probably one of the most advanced case in the world. They have many different opportunities, functionalities that help provide services and information to entrepreneurs in a very seamless way, and they are very user-centric and proactive. Regarding these different functions that they have created, a great part comes from the users themselves. They have involved many business owners in mapping the user needs, mapping the user journeys, and also testing the solutions. So this is something that Estonia and other countries could probably learn from as well. But what are the potential AI use cases we identified within this project? Based on the mapped user needs, we were able to identify 12 different AI use cases. Most of them being a different personalized recommendations, proactive notifications, taking into account either user activities or the information that is already being there. For example, the information about the company, its profile, and about the information and services that are provided through the gateway. And maybe we can go over one of the examples that we have here. The first one, the personalized recommendations. This is something that uses the recent user activities and based on that provides the recommendations. For example, if an entrepreneur is searching for information regarding declaring environmental fees, then the next time he or she comes to the portal suggests related services or information to the entrepreneur. Other use cases that we have identified here provide different recommendations and notifications regarding, for example, licenses, tax and reporting, deadlines and obligations, reminders on them, training information that is made available through public sector, different financing opportunities, and procurement possibilities. Also, a couple of smart search engines have been brought out here as well that are able to provide relevant information without knowing the exact keywords. So one of the use cases with Smart Search was for EU funding, finding EU funding opportunities, and one was finding the right contact person from the public sector side if they want to have direct interaction with. Once we had mapped all the use cases, the next thing was to work out the methodology to evaluate them, because one of our objectives was to define which one of them, those identified use cases, are the most beneficial and practicable. For that, we used impact and ease of implementation measures. And through the evaluation process, we had several iterations with the beneficiary. We had done a survey with entrepreneurs. We had interviews with organizations. We were able to identify that the one that has the highest impact and is the most beneficial is the number one use case, which was exemplified just a few seconds ago, which provides personalized recommendations based on recent activities. And the second one, number 5, which has the highest ease of implementation score and which was deemed the most practicable. And use case number 5 provides smart suggestions, notifications for deadlines and obligations. So the question needs to be asked, how can we implement the AI use cases in the digital gateway? Based on the information that we received from public agencies who have previous AI experience, and taking into account the current DGE governance model, we were able to come up with a target governance model which should be taken into account when implementing the selected AI use cases. When comparing the target governance structure with the existing structure, one of the things that pop out is the part with other institutes for data or other support, which means that here we have to involve other institutions as well, who are the data owners in this case, who provide the data. And additionally, we have added here the legal aspects and the change management aspects as well. Regarding the legal aspects, what maybe one example that we can bring out here is that different requirements and restrictions related to data processing, and also the maybe suggestion to follow the ethical AI guidelines. And regarding the change management, it is important to understand and analyze what does this solution bring to the organization, and if any other changes are needed to be done within the organization. And we have also here listed the 2 use cases that we selected as the most beneficial and practicable. And our suggestion would be to implement the use cases using agile practices. We have the practices listed down in the model in front of you, the end-to-end AI development process, which consists of 4 stages: align, innovate, release, evolve. The first stage, align, consists of defining and aligning the scope and understanding what are the organization's needs, what are the user needs, setting up specific goals, objectives of what the solution has to do and how does it have to look like. Also identify possible challenges and also basic information of what source data you are planning to use. The next step within the first stage is to design the solution and select possible AI methods that you would like to start experimenting with. And the innovate stage largely focuses on the experimenting part, and the end goal of the second phase would be to develop the solution on a POC level. The third phase is to when transitioning to the third phase, it is important to validate if we are actually planning to go further with the solution. And if yes, then further adjustments are being made, model being tested in the development or test environment. And then if model is ready, transitioning to the existing production environment. And as previously mentioned before, the AI projects doesn't end here. And therefore we have this fourth stage as well, which mainly consists of ongoing monitoring and evaluating of the product. The main goal is that the AI model would start learning by itself, and this takes time. And also it is important to have some set of KPIs or monitoring indicators from which to make decisions if needed. But that is it from my side. If there are any questions, just please let us know.